An 8-Bit Rocket Studios production.
Into the vertical blank.
Hi, this is 8-Bit Jeff here. Welcome to the Games of Exocet on the Atari ST, number 3. This game, Hyperdrome. This time I had a little trouble with the glare recording directly off my STE with the webcam. So while I left in all of that footage, as this is more of an exploration of real hardware and history and what it's like to play these games now, I've added in some newly emulated footage at the end. So we have some reviews and a little bit more to get to before the recorded play sessions. Let's get to that first. From Start Magazine, Volume 3, Issue 11, in an article called For the Fun of It, Horizontal Scrolling and Looking for Love by Andrew Reese. He reviewed Menace, Synapse, and Hyperdrome. And Hyperdrome was the game he liked the least. Here's a little excerpt from his review. Hyperdrome is another game where half the fun, in quotes, is figuring out how everything works. In the box is the disc and a single sheet of paper that purports to show what various areas of the screen are used for. There's no instruction manual, not even a warranty card. We get to a lot of that later. This game is really difficult because of that. Moving on with more of his review, his summary is, there are some problems with Hyperdrome. First of all, not all the weapons seem to work. The spread did not work consistently, and homing missiles didn't seem to work at all. There's also no way to abort or pause the game. Finally, the game had to reload each time, even if I had not gotten off the first level. Unlike Synapse, however, the scrolling, it was smooth and there was no speed variation. Warning! Did encounter some speed variations. Okay, Moby Games has some great links to magazine reviews on archive.org. The first one that I got to was Ace Magazine, issue 18. They gave the game, Hyperdrome, 557 out of 1,000. So that's like a 55% or 56%. They liked the graphics, they hated the sound, and they thought it just didn't stand out from the crowd. Okay, CVG, Computers and Video Games, issue 88, gave it a 24%. It's better than that, by the way. And said, it's an ST-only product. Thank goodness, because they thought it wasn't going to come out for the Amiga. It did come out for the Amiga. From Atari Mania, we have that start issue scan that you just saw on the screen. They also provided the regular information. The developer was Exocet. His game was developed in 1988. The programmers were Martin Bush and M.A. Hamilton. The graphics by Gary Felix and the music by Wally Beeman. The music is only at the beginning. It's really good, but it's no in-game music. Atari Mania has the manual scan. Let's look at that now. The manual scan is hilarious. It's in two parts from Atari Mania, and it just points to parts of the screen. It doesn't tell you how to control it. It doesn't tell you how to use the extra weapons. It's very frustrating. Okay, here's something else I found on my own website. From 8-Bit Rocket, from July 21st, 2007. I actually reviewed this and other games from Exocet. I had no idea. It was 12 years ago. Okay, on the video now I'm going to put a little screen capture of the top of this article, but this is from an article I wrote by 8-Bit Rocket, but this is really Jeff Fulton who wrote it. And a 16-bit road less traveled, Atari ST and Amiga, because these games came out for the Amiga, games 16-bit degrees of separation number 1 by 8-Bit Rocket. Okay, and the reason it's called 16-bit degrees of separation was we would find games and then we'd find related games. And what happened was I played Foundations Waste and then I found Hyperdrome. So 16 degrees of separation, ha ha ha. Anyway, we're staying with Exocet software for the time being. This is from my review. To check out another scrolling shooter, Hyperdrome. This is yet another game that did get a US release by Scorpion. How do I know that? Because Little Green Desktop used to have great information about these games. It's not this database is not up right now, but it was released by Scorpion. Although I never remember seeing or playing it back in the 80s, I did read and buy Start magazine regularly, And I found a review. It was a text-only review back then. It wasn't the Atari Mania scanned-in review. And that was from AtariMagazines.com back then. So maybe I did read about it once. I actively searched out for good bolt-on weapon scrolling shooters back then, but the information on games was very, very scarce. This title was released in 1989 for both the ST and Amiga. Actually, looks like it was released in 1988 for the ST and 1989 for the Amiga. And the Amiga version, videos you can find all over the place on YouTube, is slightly better than the ST version, of course. Sounds are better, and the animation's a little better. Basically the same game, though. But there's only one ST video. If you want a really clean video, look at that one. My video's not as clean, except for the extra emulated version we have at the end. But it's still funny. You should watch, because I play through the entire game. Anyway, the Atari ST version was first. It's difficult to find developer information on Atari ST titles. There aren't as many good sites on that computer as there are on the Amiga. It seems that a company called Micro Wish did the actual game development on the Amiga. Little Green Desktop has them listed as the developer for the ST. They also did the Amiga version. I don't think it's a stretch to assume they did both 16-bit versions. So Micro Wish, it seems to me, was M.J. Bush, M.A. Hamilton, Gary Felix, and Wally Beeman. Because that must be the team that built these games, and that's why they build all the Exocet games. I don't know the relationship between Micro Wish and Exocet, but Atari Mania doesn't have Micro Wish listed as the developer of the game, so I'm guessing here. That's why it's so hard to find information about this company. Okay, here's what I thought about the game back then. Hyperdrome, this is back in 2007. Hyperdrome is a horizontally scrolling shooter where the object is to add weaponry to your ship as you blast through the detailed levels. Like most 16-bit shooters, this game is difficult and unforgiving. Unlike Foundation's Waste, I find the weight of the craft to be a little bit more pleasing, and the physics seem a tad more realistic. But how realistic can a space shooter really be? Everything seems more solid, as if a little more went into making it feel like an arcade game. But when you play it now, your ship does pop a lot. And it pops meaning you hit anything and it blows up. But anyway, back to the review from back then. The weight, gravity, and mass all seem a little more in proportion than in Foundation's Waste. The music and visual effects are good. The music is only in the title screen in this one, while the sound effects are on during gameplay with no music. This seems to help add to the weight factor of the game, as you can hear things being destroyed. Yeah, so the music is over the sound effects. And the enemies don't seem to just pop like silent balloons when hit. Yeah, I could see that, especially in 1987 playing an emulation. But in the game, you fly your ship, dodge everything, shoot everything, and pick up glowing power-ups left by the destroyed enemy. Power-ups are spent by pressing the space bar when the right-hand side indicator is on the weapon you desire. Like many 80s games, it suffers from the unforgiving fact that one hit to your fighter craft will destroy it. The game is played in such close quarters, it would have been nice for another idea on ship lives, such as an energy bar, which would really help this game. Although they give you 9 or 7 ships to start, and you can pick up extra ships, which I didn't really notice while I was playing the game, but you can. So this was on Automation Disc number 34. And I gave it a rating of 6 back then. 6 out of 10. Nice effects, a little tighter than Foundation's Waste, but the game is not as well thought out as Foundation's Waste and much more difficult. Okay, that's enough exposition. Let's get on to my gameplay sessions. Here we are starting up the Atari STE. We're trying a new way of recording the screen, and we're going to read the log file from Peter Putnick just so we can see what he did. Peter goes through and explains on every one of the hard drive adapted games that he creates how he does it. Usually he tries to use an image that of a non-cracked. This is a cracked image, and he did this in December 25th of 2014. Let's get on to playing the game, which, after me playing 5 or 6 times all the way through the game with unlimited lives, I can tell you is A lot of work was put in this game. It's not as bad as the reviews. You really need to play a game all the way through to review it. There's the PDF image that works really well on the STE that Peter puts in all of his games. We're going to be, yes, we're using a monitor, and we're going to see what kind of glare we get. I've turned the brightness up all the way, so we do get an interesting brightness on this, but we're going to cut this down. We'll check and see. This is a test. But we don't get a lot of glare outside the monitor this way. I think if we do this, we might be able to... We don't see me like in the monitor. Great. Let's play through this. The way to get the power-ups is to collect them and then hold down the space bar. And there, see, I got the, well, for a little while I had the Mega Shooter. The Mega Shooter, that's the quad shooter, or the spread that in the review they said you couldn't work. All of them work as long as you hold down the space bar. And that's how you activate ones that don't automatically activate. But the game is so difficult that there's no way you would ever complete this game without them. Okay, I'll be quiet, because a lot of people... This is homing missiles. Homing missiles are, and they go, everything, your power-ups go away really fast because the game is really hard. After the first level and at the last level, you get a space section. Now we have the boss, and the boss is pretty much, the way to kill the bosses in this game is you hit them enough so then they turn white, and then you gotta hit them a bunch while they're white, and then you blow them up, like that. And with unlimited lives, it's a little bit easier. Level 2, and you can see that I have 9 lives. You can't get any more than that. But you can, luckily when you pick up your power-ups, the right-hand side doesn't, when you die, it keeps on collecting them. So we're going to try and get, if we can this time, the drone that comes with you. And that would be the next power-up. I can pick up the drone. I gotta wait till there's a little space here. I might wait because it's so hard. I don't want to pick up another power-up. Okay. Oh no! Oh, I didn't get. Okay, I hit it. So now I got the unlimited. I got the shield, which actually is a really good one. But the shield's gone now. So I went past the drone to the shield. Let's see if we can get their spread. There we are. One thing it needs to do when you press the spacebar, it needs to tell you that you've activated it. It's hard to tell. There's no noise there that tells you it. What am I on? No, I gotta pick up. So if I activated that, I would get the spread weapon, which I'm going to save. Actually, I'm going to try to get to that down to the drone, and then save that one for when we're going against the... Oh, I'm down on that. I'm back to nothing again, which is kind of a silly way to just always bypass the nothing, because you can't even use it. So anyway, power-up system is lacking in this game, but the game actually, if you play throughout all the levels, which I've done today, like now this will be my third time playing through the entire game, trying to get a good recording. It's actually pretty good. You just need to have unlimited lives, and you just need to go and blow this guy up. There we go. Next level. Let's see if we can get the drone this time. Any screen that has a lot of black on it, you get a difficult amount of glare when you're recording. So right now I'm recording this with the brightness up all the way on the VGA TV/monitor, and this is through HDMI. So it's HDMI monitor, and the contrast down all the way. And then when I put it in my video editor, I will up the brightness. I will down the brightness and up the contrast so that we'll get a better look. Well, we'll see what it looks like, but you will be seeing it right now. But this is I've tested out this game a lot today trying to record it properly. And we can do this with your homing missiles. Hold down. Oh, you get homing missiles again. I can do that. It gives you better shots, which are better. I like that. They're great shots, but it's hard to keep. All these weapons are hard to keep. Oh, wow. Okay, now I'm back again to the beginning of my power-ups. This game, basically, with unlimited ships, is about 20 to 25 minutes to finish the whole thing. You just want to go as fast as you can, pick up as many weapons as you can. These are homing missiles now, so I think I have homing missiles to fire against the boss, which is going to be interesting. Let's see what happens here. I don't know if that can help me. I don't think homing missiles do any better than anything else, though, unfortunately. So we just got to go hit him enough times to knock him down. And then once you've knocked him down, you just knock him out with a uppercut, basically. There is no space you have to hit him. You just have to make sure that when he's flashing, you hit him a bunch. On to the next level. The one thing great with this game is you do die a lot, but you keep your power-ups stay in the same place they were, the power-up indicator. See how long to keep this thing. This is a great weapon if you can keep it. I wish you could combine it together with other. I wish that everything was bolt-on, so you could get like the shield and that at the same time. I don't know. This is sort of like a... Oh, it's the you get this one big missile that goes through lots. Ooh, that's a cool weapon. See that? I don't think the reviewers played this enough, because if you play it enough, you see that like the missile, the powers are pretty neat. They're done really well. It's just the game wasn't given enough chance, and not having music while the game's playing, Wally Beeman's music, it loses a lot. Oh man. Let's see, where I am again. I'm gonna try to pick up this power up. I have the spread again. Let's see if I got it. See, the powers aren't bad in this game, and oh darn, they're easy to lose. You need to have a health. This game need to have a health bar rather than giving you 9 lives. Because you lose your weapons way too easily. Oh, drone! I got a drone, and he's gonna come with me to help me fire against the boss. That's cool. I haven't had this before. Of course, he's only going to stay for the first ship, right? You can't really beat the boss this way. You have to beat him this way. And this is it. Maybe you only act like it. Just got to get him like this. If you want this game to happen fast, you got to do this. Because and then you just go on top of him until he blows up. Alright, next level. My hand is hurting. I've played through this game so many times today. I really like the parallax things behind. This game has not been given enough credit for its graphics design. It's pretty good. With a little bit more thought and a little bit more instruction, this could have been as good as Menace. It could have been thought of as Menace. Now, no one even considers these are reviews. 24%? That's because it leaves out things like how to activate the power-ups. You can't do that when you're making a game. I feel bad for the Wally Beeman and Bush and the team that made this game, because I've played it enough now to know that they did a remarkable job on the ST, early on in the ST, making some pretty good games. And it would have been worth a $5 or a $10 or whatever they're charging. Maybe this is full price, I'm not sure. Those are homing missiles, and the homing missiles kind of like our spread, but they home in. It's really cool. Okay, let's just get the faster shots. I went back around on the wet. Oh, okay. It's okay. Another of the same type of boss to blow up the same way, really. Prepare. Like, if I actually try to hit it, try to play it right, you still get blown up. You gotta do this. Bosses are so boring. You just gotta kind of try and hit him until they... It's a little harder. Yeah, my right hand is hurting. Oh, wow, I moved the camera too much. Oh boy. Alright, that's back. That's gonna look weird. My rendering of the version where there's way too much glare has just finished, and I can't do that one yet. I was really, really disappointed in like what I've been able to produce on this today. This is my new test of trying to record it in a slightly different way. Now I get this is the shield. Another boss. Ooh. Homing missiles. I don't know if these do anything to him, so it's probably better just to. It's why the X Wars don't do any extra damage. You just gotta run into them. I have carpal tunnel when this is done. When I'm done with the games of Exocet, I'm going to have carpal tunnel syndrome. I almost had him on the ropes. Have to do that again. I'm holding the joystick in my left hand now, firing with the right because my hand is hurting. This is taking too long to get this guy. Let's get him. Should not happen this way. I'm dying right at the wrong time to finish him off. Don't get blown up as the... That was actually... I did it the right way that time and it worked better. So this is you go out in space here. I'm under the impression that you go out in space here and then you get one more boss and the game's over. And I remember these little purple, like grapes, asteroids made out of grapes. You were calling them... I hit the camera. Oh my gosh. Jesus, this is terrible. I need a better way to do this, but... As long as I could fix the glare, the glare's gone, that's gonna be the best part of this video. I think I have a giant blister on my hand now from playing this game. Yeah, from playing this game. Anyway. It's funny, you really need a chance to pick up some extra weapons out here for the final boss, but really the final boss is the same as all of them. A little bit, takes a little longer to hit him. But when a lot of those purple guys are on the screen, it slows down a little bit. Like that, there's no reason for it to slow down. This game does not need to slow down. Like there's places where there's all kinds of stuff scrolling, it doesn't slow down, and this only just slows down in the weirdest places. Could you imagine the Atari ST, playing Atari ST with a stereo pokey and a blitter built in at the beginning? Anyway, this is the final boss, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to try to play it straight for a little bit. up. I think I can do it this way. It's a little harder to blow up. I thought the last one was hard. This one's going to be even worse. Gotta get on the ropes. The only time that you're invincible is right when you start. So you gotta... There's no way to get them that way. It was just a way to know when he was going to become into his ready to blow up state. Wow, that was close. I had to switch to my left hand now because my hand is dirty. Got him. And guess what? Congratulations with the G, and I don't know what language that G is in. Listen to a little bit of Wally Beeben's music. I'll try and reposition the camera just slightly. I don't know if it's going to work. And we're done. And then on to the next part of this, I do have a little bit of a recording of the emulated version so we can clean up the graphics a little bit without any glare. We'll see how that works. Good music by Wally Beeben, though. There we go. It looks like congratulations pilot, and then it's like constabulations with the S like cut off at the bottom. Alright, it's a lot of Wally Beeben music. Good job, Wally. We're back. Hi, thank you for watching this third episode in the series of the games of Exocet on the Atari ST. Yeah, we're getting a little tired of Exocet games. I do like the team that was put together to build them. There are, I think, 2 more. I apologize for the glare. I apologize for having to do 2 different recording sessions, one emulated, one not. I do like using the Atari STE to do the main recording. There's a little bit too much of me in the glare of the screen, so I apologize for that. On the way out, we have a new song. This is the 8-Bit Rocket Perfect Power Pop song. Enjoy it, and until next time, into the vertical blank.
Into the vertical blank.
An 8-Bit Rocket Studios production.